tremendous advantage for the Australians after playing the first 2 tests. Meninga and his team are determined to make it all happen in a big way. They are confident of really laying on the points against the Kiwis. Great reception for the home team. Cool and casual, Dale Shearer wanders out at the back. The fireworks take over. The players get a chance to produce their own in just a few short minutes. This crowd has always been a big advantage in Queensland. They will play their role as well, and it will be a daunting task for the Kiwis when they make their entry to the ground. Joining us again in commentary tonight is Graham Lowe, the former Kiwi coach, and the man who will take the reins of the Auckland Warriors into the Winfield Cup in 1995, John Mooney. Lowe, you've been here before as a Kiwi coach and produced an upset. What have they got to do tonight?
Well, they've got to come out and absorb the atmosphere. I think they've got to use the atmosphere in a positive way, and I believe they will tonight, Graham, because they've come here before and done it. You can see the look on Gary Freeman and Brent Todd's face. They know they're in for it. They know that they've got to just produce it and use the atmosphere in a positive way.
They've had the home ground advantage for 2 tests. They wander out slowly to a fairly hostile reception. They've got a tour to Great Britain ahead of them in October. They are playing for a lot of positions in that test series as well tonight. McCracken will be important up against Meninga, and Gary Freeman has been great in the first 2 tests. Can he try and inspire this side just one more time? Brent Todd up front against the likes of Lazarus and Nikau. Apparently happy that he's going to be back on a dry surface, and John Mooney, the dry surface is going to be a lot different than Palmerston North.
Yeah, it certainly will, as this is a fast track, and I think the wingers and the centres are going to get a little bit more ball tonight. I think we should see a little bit more ball movement, and there's a little bit more mobility in the back row of the New Zealand side, so they'll be looking to cut down those big Australian forwards before they get a head of steam up.
Meninga only got back last Friday night after serving out a suspension. The world champs have been saying all week here in Brisbane they want to dominate. They want to produce a big scoreline. The Kiwis determined to stop it and determined to bring about an upset of their own. Freeman with his last test leading the Kiwis in Australia. He will finish up with the tour of Great Britain. We stand by for the national anthems.
Australian songs, let us rejoice, for we are young and brave, with golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea, our land of mountain nature's gifts, of beauty rich and rare, in history's page, let every stage and God's Australia fair. Let's join the strength and let us sing our vast Australia
Great reception for Sharon Calabro, doing the honours for Australia. Now an emotional moment for the Kiwis, who have locked arms. United they stand against the world champs this evening. Last time out in 1991, they copped a hammering in the 3rd test. A test that was a decider of that series.
Voices we
Great moment also for Chris and Arnetta Torre. Now the Kiwis to set themselves for the famous haka. It will be interesting to check the reaction of the Australians, who have taken a rather casual approach to the haka prior to kickoff.
They certainly didn't take a casual approach to the national anthem, Graham. They huddled together. There's a lot of feeling out there in this Australian side. There's nothing like playing a test here in Australia in front of your home crowd.
The referee for this third test, Mr. Russell Smith of England, who has controlled the series. It will also be interesting to see how far he keeps these two teams apart. There's a big crowd hoping for an open test match. The conditions are there for it. And Australia to get us underway. Dale Shearer to put it down deep. The first 40 still ahead of us. And an early touch for Freeman to give it back. Gavin Hill taken strongly by Langer, the little halfback, first man down there. Dwayne Mann with a good surge from dummy half.
And that's what he's got to do, Graham. That was missing in the first two tests. They've got to run from dummy half.
Freeman trying to milk it for a bit of a penalty. He cops three defenders. Sirinen coming in from behind. Now the penalty will come. And Freeman wants to go on with it with an old Tiger teammate. They used to play together at Balmain, Sirinen and Freeman. He chased him down the field. Had plenty to say. Just outside the 20. Gavin Hill to look for the sideline. Trying to get it down over halfway. He gets it right out to the 50. Trot upended strongly just in Australian territory. New Zealand working it to centre field. Freeman wants to go wide now to the back line. Nikau standing wide on the fringe. Langer got up there to upset things. Dwayne Mann. McCracken charged onto it, and he, like a magnet, brings four defenders to him. Kemp kicking. Trying to weight it to the in goal. Will it stay in play for him? It does. There's plenty of chasing. Hancock fights and wrestles, but will not get back into the field of play. That's a great chase. Magnificent chasing from New Zealand, and a great kick from Tony Kemp.
Outstanding kick from Tony Kemp. But that great passage of play, Graham, was brought about because Dwayne Mann's run out of the dummy half position a couple of times. That's the key. He was able to turn the Australian forwards around.
Daly with a restart.
Hancock will get the same sort of latitude as he did last week against Halligan.
Mercer. Right to the centre of the field, Mercer. New Zealand with plenty of enthusiasm. Back up the middle. Turner plays it back for Freeman. Watson. Inside was McCracken. Just outside the 20. They stay on a very short side. Freeman happy to settle for a scrum about 11 metres out. So confident stuff from the Kiwis. Good solid start.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was a great start. It was the opposite to the other test. Australia had all the field position and all the pressure in the second test. New Zealand's reversed that tonight.
Russell Smith laying down the Lord to both sets of forwards. Willie Kahn. The Kiwis offside from the scrum. And Russell Smith is quick to diffuse any situation that might have erupted.
Graham, there's plenty of feeling between these sides. They really are psyched up for big games. I can tell you there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of atmosphere down here on sideline.
Well, in fact, he's got Kemp for a high tackle around the throat. He has been consistent in that area throughout the series.
Well, New Zealand's got to be careful that they don't allow the emotion to take over the actual skill that's required. Use the emotion as a weapon, and that's all.
This is how Australia got home in the second test. They powered through the forwards. Harrigan trying to fight over that advantage line. Steve Walters, sloppy ball back for Linder to pick up the dregs. He loses it. New Zealand push the pass. Watson trap.
They must sweat on Steve Walters. He did all the damage in the second test for Australia.
Brent Todd quickly taken by Langer. 35 out from the New Zealand line. Freeman to use men on the fringe. Tudor had nowhere to go. Freeman again. Mercer floating it over the top to Edwards. Meninga shows him the sideline, nearly drives him about 8 metres over it. Now, rather unbelievably, Morgan Edwards, in getting up to play the ball, has put a foot over the sideline. Edwards can't believe it. But let's try and see if we can pick it up. We just missed it on that replay. Daly switching of play from Fittler, then back to Shearer. Slow play the ball, the penalty had to come. Nikau wants to argue now, but Russell Smith will hear none of it, and it will give Australia a chance at goal. Shearer to come up from about 39 metres out. Looking right down the barrel. They had the penalties, Australia, 2-1.
Yeah, those holding down penalties, they're a judgment call that the players have got to make. And early in the game when they're trying to work out the referee, just how long do you hold a player down? They've got to stop the Australians from having the quick play the balls, but you just can't take it too far.
4 goals for Shearer during the series. The Australians started this clash with New Zealand at Mount Smart Stadium with a goal-kicking problem.
He's had a bad hamstring too, Shearer, so it'll be interesting to see how he hits this.
Shearer taking plenty of time to try and nose in front. Hits it beautifully. Drills it down the middle. Australia. Gavin Hill with the restart for the Kiwis. Sirenen winds up. And does he ever wind up? Takes them back out of the 20. Everybody wanted to go high on him. Now Meninga to join in as well. Decoy from Clyde for Bob Lindner. Dummies, both left and right from Steve Walters. They stay on him. They're not allowing him the latitude they did in the second test. Shearer under some pressure, created his own space, puts it straight down to Morven Edwards. He's taken quickly by Fittler. Big 10 metres in that play of the ball from Russell Smith. Punishing defence from Sirinen. Jason Donnelly on debut against the Australians in a starting lineup. Freeman to Kemp, trying to set the ball up. This defence has just upset the Kiwis for a moment. Daly had a bit of a match-up with Watson off the ball. Last tackle against the Kiwis. Dwayne Mann looks deep for Gavin Hill. Just gets it in before Harrigan makes the tackle. Good numbers down there on Hancock. But they were again going high. Freeman asked the question of the referee, is he overdoing it?
I think that one was fairly innocuous, but he does seem to be policing the head-high tackles a lot more than the first two tests. Maybe he's had a direction from up above.
Australia will go back out near halfway. Right on it. Lazarus. Batters away. Swinging arm in the tackle from Brent Todd. Clyde running with the support of Harrigan. 10 minutes gone in this third test. Clyde running one out, the Kiwis up quickly to put him down. Langer to Daly. Linking up with Lindner, who throws a difficult ball for Fittler. Wasn't really expecting that one. And Todd is over to the mark just as quick to pick up the pace.
The thing is, was good pressure coming out on the outside backs there, Graham. But the thing is with Brent Todd and also Gavin Hill, they are two big forwards. When tackled, can get on their hands and knees and get up to play the ball quickly.
This time against the Australians, New Zealand were after a quick play of the ball. The Australians tried to slow them down.
Well, I think the Kiwis would have been taking a leaf out of Australia's book and really working on playing the ball quickly, because that is one definite advantage Australia do have in the game. They get on with it quickly. They keep their roll going quickly, and that's the Kiwis already indicated that they're going to try and do the same.
Not able to gain much territory, Hill. Now a high tackle from Lazarus against his best man. Used to play together at Canberra. Todd gets up with a bit of a wry smile. He was the best man at Lazarus's wedding. This is how you don't look after each other.
Yeah, he's come up very quick and come out of the line a little bit, and it's definitely a high tackle. He's well over the shoulder area, and usually the target area for a player in that is up under the ball. They're skating on very thin ice.
Just outside the 20 for New Zealand, now deep inside the 20. And a quick restart for Todd, who wants some more. This time Lazarus goes low. Now, the Australians were never back 10. It is another penalty. Quick hands. Nikau couldn't get it out to McCracken. That was beautifully read by Khan. He came off his wing and nailed his man. Edwards stays up in the line. Again, Willie Khan makes a tackle. Dwayne Mann. Long ball across the ruck for Tudor. Back to Mann. Mann winds up, throws the dummy. 10 metres out, New Zealand, right near the post. McCracken darts from dummy half. He is only 3 metres away. Freeman screaming for it on the left. It's not a good kick, and the pressure is off for Australia.
Graham, what about that decision not to kick for goal?
Well, they had an opportunity. They wanted to keep up the pace.
It's easy to be wise in hindsight, I suppose.
Halligan's sitting on the bench, but they have another good kicker in Gavin Hill. 2 points goes begging.
Without any doubt, Graham, 2 points went missing then. Just a blood rush. The emotion was taking over the events at that stage, but still, it's a very good start for New Zealand. They're playing in a positive manner. They're chasing out of the marker far better than they were doing in the first test, or the first two tests.
Daly gets the kick in. It will travel down to Donnelly. He makes a real mess of it. And don't you worry about Lang Park. Lang Park, this famous cauldron, can certainly play a role for any young player.
Well, Graham, they've changed the wingers around. Sean Hoppy's now playing on the right wing and he's marking Michael Hancock. Whether or not he wanted to get away from Willie Kahn or not, I don't know. Whether Jason Donnelly just likes the left wing.
Right in midfield, Langer. Looks both ways. Stays with Bradley Clyde. Australia's chance down the other end. Sirenen stands. Finally, they put him down. Langer has the field opening up. He tries to take on the line. Fittler to Daly, kicking. Kahn is there. Donnelly is there. Donnelly makes another mess of it. Having a nightmare out on the wing at the moment. This will cause a restart from under the posts.
Yeah, it's a good, nice long ball here, and Laurie Daly kicks the ball into the corner. Jason Donnelly gets back in plenty of time, but those first test match nerves.
Oh, I tell you what, that was all but a try if it didn't hit the corner post.
Gavin Hill to get things underway again from right under the posts. They had Australia stretched about 2 minutes ago. Now they will have to handle back-to-back sets of 6 for the Australians. Shearer to Lindner, who puts the foot down. Taken by Mercer, gets some assistance from Gavin Hill. Clyde.
Well, New Zealand's got a very small second row, Graham, so in a game like this, because they're small, they've really got to work. They've got to chase kicks, they've got to harass, they've got to be like little pig dogs, get in and annoy the big Australian forwards. That's what they're there for. If they try and take them high like they've done a couple of times, they get brushed.
Meninga. Fittler back to Meninga. Meninga tries to get it wide. Does he lose it? He does. Just trying to see the ruling here from Russell Smith. Scrum feed to New Zealand. Meninga, when he tried to grab it back the second time, lost it. Now it is still Australia's ball. Daly to Meninga. Shearer in. Shearer loses it. This will not help the Australians. Bustled off the ball out wide. Donnelly. Todd. He's been non-stop in taking the ball up for New Zealand. Mercer. Big weight advantage throughout the pack for Australia. Freeman to Watson. At times he has caused trouble with his step, but he's caused trouble for his own team right here with a bad ball down around the ankles for Gavin Hill.
Very indecisive play there by Watson. He stepped and almost caused a shepherd and gave it to a player I don't think was expecting the ball.
Langer to Daly. Fittler up the middle. Nikau is there. He had to stop him. They were busted wide open. Clyde continues the roll. Taken by Hill, but allowed to get it back to Steve Walters. Straight across the paddock. Put down by Freeman. Possession coming for Australia. Big advantage at the moment. Lindner. Inside the 20. Langer had to dive for it. Lost it forward. It will come back for the scrum, but there's some poor passing from both sides.
Well, there is poor passing, Graham, but a lot of it's to do with the intensity. There's more intensity in this game than there has been in the previous two, and it's showing on both sides.
There's also a bit of a dew down here, a bit of a mist on that's causing the ball to be a little bit slippery.
Right on the 20, the scrum to pack. Nikau has it. goes to the blind side looking for Freeman, gets upset by Langer and Lindner. Scrums of 5-1 to Australia. Mercer running without support, he gets pinned by Langer. Freeman, McCracken having to try and start things from deep inside his own 20. He gets out-muscled by Sirinen and Lazarus. Tudor, all too easy, the little man up the middle for the Australians. Midway through this first 40, they will look to kick. Wide is Gavin Hill. Forced to go to the left boot, but he puts it straight down to Shearer. Taken by Donnelly. Ball and all, strong tackle.
This Lang Park service does play a big role in the kicking game because it's got such a high crown on it. If you kick it properly, as Wally Lewis has shown for years, it rolls to the sideline.
Harrigan gallops up the middle, picks up an easy 15 metres. Daly. Meninga. Donnelly nearly got away. Back it comes for Freeman. Clyde is there to tidy up. On the break, New Zealand looking for a quick play of the ball. A lot of balls being put down. Nikau. Bit of a jig to try and get away. They still keep it alive as this match opens up. Kemp. New Zealand on counter-attack. Freeman kicking, trying to get it deep. Donnelly will chase to the end goal. Shearer's there. Shearer with great footwork. New Zealand will try and race in, looking to upset the Australians more in the ball handling department. Daly. Just when he's needed, he comes up with a fine run to help things. Likewise from Fittler, who comes from the centres. Very even between these two sides. Lindner, short ball up to Harrigan. They spell it again. Great opportunity for New Zealand. Freeman, Nikau, back inside for Watson. Watson goes one way, then the other, gets hammered by Sirinen and Clyde. Todd steadies the ship, takes it right up the middle towards the posts inside the 20. Dwayne Mann up the middle for Mercer. He gets finished by Harrigan. Freeman looking for runners. McCracken to the gap. Freeman calls for the bomb. He will have to rush to dummy half. Ball went forward on the last tackle. It will be a handover for the Australians. But there has been real pressure, John, and a lot of spilt ball from the world champs.
Yeah, there certainly has. Jared McCracken and Mal Meninga came together a little while ago in a hell of a collision, and both players are a little worse the wear, but there's a lot of pressure in defence. Both teams are prepared to move the ball around.
The competitive nature, Graham Lowe, continues in this test series.
Well, it is competitive, but New Zealand certainly made a big mistake there, having no dummy half. Penalties 4 apiece there.
Lazarus waiting for somebody to gain control. Grabbed the advantage with a first try. Harrigan steps out of one, and he carries Gavin Hill about another dozen metres.
You've got to tackle these big Australians around the legs. It's no good trying to go high. You'll get brushed off all night.
Clyde likewise batters his way into the 20. Langer wants the switch. Meninga to Willie Kahn, taken by Donnelly. Shearer looked wide, but they kept a very straight line, the Kiwis. There was no options for him. Last tackle. Langer.
Michael Hancock.
Kicking. Hancock in behind the line. Nobody home. They can argue all they like. but they were not aware of the fact that he got in behind the line and was onside. The Australians grabbed the first try. It could not have been executed any better. Great skill in this try by the Australians.
Well, Alfie Langer sitting up here in Brisbane with the Broncos. They practice this sort of thing before training every day. I know that they used to do it with Queensland. An outstanding, well-rehearsed try. Certainly caught New Zealand napping.
Yeah, this is his fourth try in this Test series, and it's usually over to Willie Kahn, but they've switched wings. Michael Hancock just enjoys that.
I actually got the call here from Alfie Langer. I nearly scored it myself, but great work there by Hancock. Went in unchecked. Sean Hoppy used to playing that Canberra short defence out there, and Hancock simply had no one in front of him.
Michael Hancock with his fourth Test try against New Zealand. Normally it is Langer and Kahn with that kicking connection, but they stay with their Bronco teammates to produce the goods. It's been tough in the first 25 minutes. Now Shearer from out wide, trying to stretch it by two more. Has it on line. Shearer grabs it, no, just below. But the Australians push the scoreline. Gavin Hill restarts things for New Zealand. Langer traps it. Willie Kahn.
Graham, I'm going to put my New Zealand hat on for a minute now. That try was brought about initially from New Zealand being up inside the 5 metres.
I'd say it was brought about low from a great run by Harrigan and then Clyde.
Sheridan. Lindner takes it to midfield. Steve Walters allowed to scurry about 8 or 9 metres. Langer created some time for Daly to put the kick in. Down to Edwards. Has some space in front of him. Tries to slice between the Canberra duo of Clyde and Daly. Donnelly off his wing. Pressure call now for New Zealand to come up with their own reply.
Well, there's only one way to beat Australia. Every side that's beaten Australia, like New Zealand, Great Britain, over the last 10 years has done it one way, by keeping the ball alive. If you keep the ball alive against Australia, you're in with a chance. If you try and play this confrontation type game, you'll get done.
Freeman to a back line with Kemp very wide. Taken easily by Daly. Nikau to Freeman, who will be forced to kick on the last. But once again, they kick straight to Shearer. No time for the chasers. Shearer! Shearer gallops into wound. Hancock inside. He doesn't use him. New Zealand are turned around. They are paying the penalty for a poor kick. Wide to Daly, to Meninga.
A great run, Dale Shearer. Great passage of play there from Australia.
Langer. Dummies inside, outside as Sirinen. Gets rid of one. Taken by Freeman. New Zealand in trouble.
Oh.
Now Freeman and Steve Walters exchange blows.
He put one on Sirenen's chin while he was down.
Langer to Harrigan. Loses it. Some scrappy play. Now, I don't know why McCracken didn't grab it. Can't understand why McCracken just didn't pick up the ball. Langer, right in front of the post, last tackle. Daly, easily diffused back to the 20. Still no touch judge in on that incident with Freeman and Steve Walters. It will just be a quick restart for Hoppy to get...
I can tell you what happened. Freeman hit Sirinen while he was on the ground and Steve Walters rushed in.
All right, Donnelly. Freeman not expecting it. Crowd calling for a forward pass. They need to regain their composure. That's a mile forward. New Zealand making some mistakes under pressure. The game's starting to turn for the Australians. They need to steady. Scrum will pack just on halfway. Daly to Shearer. Meninga. Upset by Tony Kemp. Dwayne Mann rushes across. He's still alive. Still travelling now to Willie Kahn. The Australians looking to keep it wide now. New Zealand on the rack. They're in pursuit of their second try. Shearer. Shearer away again. New Zealand are all going high. They're bustled at the moment. They need to go low. Langer. 11 metres out, the Australians. Players slowed down. Harrigan, blindside. Harrigan throws himself at the line. He loses the ball. High tackle against Harrigan. Penalty to the Australians. Steve Walters wants to get on with it. We've got a quick restart. Langer. Right in front of the post. Still more possession. New Zealand trying to hang on. Fittler was thinking about reaching out. New Zealand offside. Meninga tries to control it. Clyde. Desperate defence. They hang on. Clyde to Steve Walters. Langer. Extra wide to Daly. There's numbers. Shearer quickly through his hands to Harrigan. Freeman's there to save it. 10 metres out. Frantic play. Now we've got a penalty against Harrigan. So New Zealand survive at 6-0.
That shouldn't have been a penalty. He just simply dropped the ball.
Well, New Zealand under all sorts of pressure there, Graham, hanging on by the skin of their teeth. Unfortunately for Australia, conceding a penalty there. Great attack, though, from Australia. Obviously going to take New Zealand on out wide, but very, very good work from the New Zealand defence. They're scrambling. Gary Freeman is all over the park.
40 metres out for the Kiwis, who have handled the situation well. Todd. Now we've got a high tackle against Fittler. Anything above the shoulders is calling for a penalty from the referee.
Players on both sides have to be very careful at this stage of the game, Graham, because the referee is obviously a little whistle happy there. The teams have got to really knuckle down, get themselves into their patterns of play and stay in the pattern of play. Don't be disrupted by the ref.
Anything above the shoulders is a penalty, though, Heaps.
Straight across the paddock for Hoppy. Freeman. Everybody missed it. Donnelly will go back and grab it. Gets away from Clyde. Straightens. Can't get away from Lindner. New Zealand looking for a try. Mercer needed support on his right. Gavin Hill was a decoy inside. Tudor to Nikau, needs support. Nikau can't get it back. Australia rush back to the line. Last tackle. Plays it forward. Russell Smith tells him he had a marker. Now Nikau had the rest of his teammates lined up to the left. He has something to say. It costs him another 10 metres. They had a great chance, John.
Yeah, they did. Nikau's a great broken field runner, and once he gets a little bit of space and he gets out wide, he can certainly do some damage. Just a rush of blood. He did have a marker and pushed the ball forward.
Freeman screaming out to his players.
These snow rescue dogs are brave.
6.5 minutes from half-time. New Zealand determined to post a try of their own. Australia looking for a second. Harrigan works away. The first test was drawn. Australia grabbed the second. Now they're looking to wrap up the series. Sirenen, the big men take control. Way too easy. 4 defenders on him, but he picked up about 14 metres. Langer. Daly. Fittler. Hancock. Freeman gets across in cover. Daly was inside in support. Last tackle. New Zealand have to hang on for one more. Langer. Kicking wide. Willie Cairns there, loses it forward. Hand over to New Zealand. There is no doubt that those bombs are a real headache.
Well, they are a real headache. They're just a 50-50 raffle, but I thought Australia were very, very lucky not to be penalised then. They had about 3 or 4 players in front of the kicker. Could have quite easily been a New Zealand penalty.
Meninga was the man who I thought might have been just in front.
Graham, once again, I'm going to wear my New Zealand hat. I just hope this referee is looking at both sides as far as the 5 metres go. He's pinged New Zealand a few times for not being back to 5. Australia are not fast enough to get up as quick as they're doing. They are offside.
Well, I think he's, to be fair, I think he's off. He's making the mistake on both sides, Graham. I'm down here and he's letting them get in front of the line on both sides.
Freeman tries to get it over the head of Hancock. Did he touch it? Was this touched?
We've got Tia Rapati warming up for the New Zealanders on the sideline.
Rapati stretches. Ball was touched. And New Zealand will have to feed. 4 minutes before half-time, they will get a chance down Australia's end. Awkward ball for Kemp. He does well to take it. Put it out the back for Morvan Edwards into the line. No real chances wide for McCracken or Watson yet. Todd, good short ball up for Dwayne Mann. Freeman takes over at dummy half. Short side. Catches them out behind to play the ball. 11 metres out. Kemp works his runners inside. Tudor breaks the tackle of Clyde. Taken by Lindner. Vital stage of this third test. Again, the inside ball. Watson. They keep on changing direction. If they're going to do it, they've got one more tackle. Dwayne Mann kicking, beautifully trapped and taken. Great hands from Bob Ledner. A real hero here at Lang Park.
Great defence in that passage then from Australia, but New Zealand changing the angle, but running back into the ruck. When they are shifting it wide, they're using too many decoy runners. They've got to use more draw and passing. They have the advantage out wide, but they're cutting it out.
Langer. Lindner. Turns his back and cops a solid hit from McCracken. Meninga taken by McCracken. Gets it back to Willie Cairns.
Leave him, Black. Leave him. Leave him, Gray.
Still 2.5 minutes on the last tackle. Shearer under pressure. Just gets the kick in. Edwards has plenty of time to take this one. Quickly to his feet. Freeman continues it on for Mercer. The Australians offside.
There you go, Lowe. It's not all one way.
About time.
6-0. Australia lead. Freeman to get on with it as the clock counts down to this half-time break. Penalty 7-6 to the Kiwis. Gavin Hill. He cops a double barrel. Harrigan and Lazarus still manages to bounce back. Todd. Right in front of the post, New Zealand. 10 metres out. Freeman. Kemp. Freeman on a runaround. Decoys everywhere for Edwards. The Australians read it well, keep their line. Freeman again, this time to Watson, who's come looking for the ball. They can't find a way through this green and gold wall. Freeman switching. Nikau taken. One-on-one, he was taken well by Daly. Again, it's the last. Kemp chipping. It has to sit up, but it's too deep. Tried to vary it. Inside the last 60 seconds, Australia will be in no rush.
That's super defence from Australia. They've really defended their own 25 extremely well.
Very competitive first 40.
Yeah, both sides have made a lot of mistakes, but once you get down into that 20-metre zone, if you're going to kick the ball, you've got to kick it down at the ground, and you just can't afford to kick the ball dead or give a fullback an easy catch. You're just giving up 20 yards.
Lazarus. Inside the last 30. Harrigan. Latter stages of this second half, it has been the big Australian forwards who again have caused problems. But New Zealand coming back strongly before this break. Time almost gone. The Australians will settle for that. Nothing in it. The third test at Lang Park. Tough one out for both sides. The world champs at home trying to deny this threat from New Zealand. They grabbed the only try at the break. 6-0 Australia.
6-0 only to Australia at half-time, and Graham Lowe, Howie Tamati, the New Zealand coach, will have to be happy. It's been a tough first half.
Yeah, I think New Zealand can feel pretty pleased with themselves. A lot of yardage has been made around the rucks by the Australian side. New Zealand has got to really now concentrate on tackling around the legs. They can't go high on guys like Serin and Harrigan. You just get pushed off all day. You've got to go low.
It is back to the first test, though, at Mount Smart, though, isn't it? In Auckland, where Australia made a lot of handling mistakes, and they have done that out wide.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of mistakes coming on both sides, I suppose, but that's because of the intensity and the pressure. You know, like this New Zealand side, you've got to give it full credit. They're not up to Australia's standard. I've got to be honest, I'm a biased Kiwi, but Australia are the world champions, and I think the acid test is on Australia. The New Zealanders are forcing them into mistakes.
Well, the mistakes came from New Zealand. A near chance in the 15th minute when Daly put it along the deck to Jason Donnelly. Fittler to Daly, kicking. Khan is there, Donnelly is there! Donnelly makes another mess of it. Well, Lowie, this came for Jason Donnelly, who struggled with his hands only a couple of minutes before this one and very nearly set up a try for the Australians in the corner.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's a pretty difficult thing to pick up the rolling ball when you know you've got pressure coming. It's a test match, his debut test match. He's got pressure from behind. Just an error that just comes. It's a nightmare for the poor bloke.
Well, the nightmare was out wide for another Kiwi test man, Sean Hoppy, on his wing when Michael Hancock grabbed the first try.
Michael Hancock.
Kicking. Hancock in behind the line. Nobody home! They can argue all they like, but they were not aware of the fact that he got in behind the line and was onside.
Alan Langer at his best. They've been doing this all year long, the Broncos, haven't they?
I just wish I could have said Hancock was offside, but he wasn't. It was great work by the Bronco pair. Totally caught New Zealand unaware, and they're going to have to watch that in this half because Alfie's liable to come up with it again.
I was surprised because they shortened their defensive line and Hoppy had come in and he let him sneak behind.
Yeah, well, it was bad play by the New Zealand outside backs, but good play from Australia.
This high shot again shows that they were onside, beautifully placed. But it is the only try so far in this first half. And Australia at that stage looked as though they might have threatened to open it up. And they did that in the very next instant with Dale Shearer, who was having a great game at fullback in this first 40. He split them wide open. There was nearly a try on the end of it. Out to Freeman, who will be forced to kick on the last. But once again, they kick straight to Shearer. No time for the chasers. Shearer! Shearer gallops into Roon. Hancock inside. He doesn't use him. New Zealand are turned around. They are paying the...
That showed again, Lowy, that the kicking game has not been good from New Zealand.
It hasn't been good from New Zealand, but I don't think it's been good from Australia either. The kicking game seems to be non-existent at this stage. On this Lang Park surface, which has got a big crown on it, the side that kicks the best normally wins.
Well, we saw a fireworks display at the start of the game, and Michael O'Connor commented about the debris that was left on the field. It's been a problem for the players, Mick.
Yeah, here's an example of some of the debris I've picked up from, or Mal Meninga's picked up and passed over to me. But it's been fairly, ferocious out there. The first 20 minutes were really telling. I mean, I think Australia's made enough clean breaks. They've got to start converting them. Mal Meninga's been in great form out wide. He's very dangerous when he's turned back on the inside. You saw Dale Shearer make a good run. But New Zealand really are finding it very difficult to handle the big fellas, Harrigan and Sirinen.
Yeah, that's the way it started in that latter part of the first half. Let's take a look at the stats right throughout. Overall possession favouring the Australians. In the opposition half, there is only one tackle in it. But that shows again with the big men, Lowy, the missed tackles mounting against the Kiwis.
Yeah, well, missed tackles you just can't afford, because not only if you miss the tackle are they going to make the run through, they can all offload these big Aussie blokes. So it's an area that New Zealand's definitely got to improve in. The handling errors there, but I think that's a good step for New Zealand, because it shows that even though they're missing tackles, they are forcing a few errors.
All right, well, very little in the penalties as well in the scoreline. Just one try, and it's 6-0 here at half-time to the world champs Australia. After the break, we're back with the final 40 minutes of the third test of this series. Australia.
Park awaits the start of this second half. Thankfully, the rain has stayed away. There was only light showers before the kickoff. The entertainment is continuing here. The players gain a respite. John Mooney, we've seen a pretty tough first 40, and the big crowd that's turned out here at Brisbane, I think they've realised that the international game is well and truly alive.
Yeah, I know Australia was looking for a big win, but this is a pretty tough Kiwi outfit, and there's some good players there. Both teams are making mistakes, but there's nothing in this game. We've got a real good ball game here, and I think the next team to score some points is going to be very, very important.
You know the Great Britain scene only too well after your stint with Wigan. What about the Test series coming up, Great Britain and New Zealand? That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I think the game in Great Britain is alive and well, and there's a lot more depth over there now, and there's a lot of top-class players, but it'll be a great series in England.
Meninga, 40 minutes left on mine for the Australian captain. They have a 6-point break. 6-0 they will start this second half. New Zealand still looking with a good shot of an upset. In Queensland, normally a great advantage for Australia, Lang Park. The Australians are determined to shake off this threat from New Zealand. But as the series has gone, as we saw in the second half, Graham Lowe at Palmerston North, when they got back to 12-8, they really do believe that they can continue to stretch the chance.
Yeah, well, there's nothing New Zealand likes better than to take on Australia in anything at all, especially in a game of rugby league, mate. They know they're up against it here. You've been telling everyone all week that the Aussies are so good. They've been reading it in the paper. Bob Fulton's been giving them heaps. These Kiwis now are going to come out. They've got 40 minutes now before they play Australia again, which probably won't be for another 18 months or so, and they've got a point to prove.
40 minutes left. We've got a good stage set. Packed house at Lang Park. Freeman, 40 minutes left as the New Zealand captain for his last test in Australia. He has been an inspiration to the Kiwis, and again he has covered a lot of territory so far in this test. 40 minutes left also for Bob Ledner in an international career in Australian colours. He's trying to go out in a big way at his favourite ground, Lang Park. Gavin Hill will get us underway. Russell Smith just checking with both captains. The advantage advantage lies, but only in a short way. Now, if Russell Smith had turned his back, the Kiwis had broken the line and were offside from the kickoff. Dave Watson was the man that waltzed across the line, nearly gave away a penalty. Fittler getting involved right away. Harrigan always seems to gain that advantage from the play of the ball. Linden gallops out of one, takes them up the middle. Good passage from Australia from the kick-off. They're back out near the 40. And they can get the roll on from the kick. Langer sending it out near the sideline. Edwards will be confronted by 4 Australians. Taken by Daly inside his own 20. Freeman takes it to the fringe of the ruck.
And they are good tactics from New Zealand, opening the ball up straight away from the kick instead of trying to take them on down the middle of the field. That is better tactics. Shift the Australian defence over.
Nikau stays on the short side. Dwayne Mann tries to steal it up the middle. Fittler stayed on him. Freeman to Kemp. Kemp taken. Flipped over by Langer. One more tackle. Freeman doesn't have a long kicking game, but he finds some open space. He gets a good ball that breaks away from Shearer and Hancock. This is a handful to try and stop. Gavin Hill does a good job of it. Shearer puts the foot down, loses it though. New Zealand have it on halfway. Nikau sends it wide. Hoppy at first receiver. Tudor keeps it going to Kemp. McCracken has been very well marked, has not received many chances.
Again, Graham, we see that tactic of New Zealand opening the ball up straight away from a turnover. They are good tactics, but both times Tony Kemp's probably run 1 or 2 paces too much instead of just pinging it on straight away.
Mercer drops a massive shoulder check from Laurie Daly, put him down. He got straight back up.
Well, outstanding. If you're going to run down the middle of the field, that's what's going to happen.
Daly hammered him. Freeman. Kemp to Watson. They change direction. Work the angles. Now Morvan Edwards was hit high by Sirenen, put down. After it was lost, it is still play on. Shearer quickly into the line as the Australians try to break away.
Well, I'd like to know what the Australian linesman was doing in that situation there. Without any doubt, Sirenen was involved in a head-high tackle. Are they neutral linesmen?
I'll leave that to you. Bradley Clyde takes it over the halfway line. Langer. Ball is lost and it will be brought back for a scrum. Handling mistakes are upsetting for Australia. They can't get into their rhythm.
Yeah, they're making plenty of breaks. Here we see Alan Langer slipping through there. McCracken just gets a hand to him. He releases the ball back. Really, that's a play-on situation. The referee very quick on the whistle.
Didn't look to roll forward at all. The players looked as though they were keen to continue on. But New Zealand will have the advantage of this scrum feed out near their own 40. Bigger advantage now as they end up with one of those all too rare commodities in rugby league, a scrum penalty.
That's a joke.
Something I don't think we're used to seeing in rugby league anymore, Michael.
Well, we're just on the linesman, mate. They're New Zealand linesmen.
They can't be.
8-6, the penalties now. The Kiwis fail to find touch. Shearer will play it 40 out.
Well, that so far is the worst mistake of the game from New Zealand, because they did have the opportunity to gain an advantage in field position over Australia, but they just didn't find touch. A very, very bad error.
Clyde, Sirenen. He will play at 45 out. Daly kicking deep, right down to the corner. Meninga's on the chase. Edwards will leave it alone over the sideline. That's a fine kick.
Laurie Daly, take a bow. What a great kick that is. Followed up by that huge hit he did only 5 minutes ago.
Well, that's right, Michael. Using the ground perfectly, just getting the roll. It rolls off the crown of the park there. Great field position game for Australia by Laurie Daly.
Off his wing comes Donnelly. Scrum 6-3 Australia. Todd. Straight up the middle. Nikau likewise. That is a punishing area, though, to take on Australia. Gavin Hill. He tries his hand at it. Freeman. Shearer gets a ball that breaks right down near his try line. And he's taken by Watson. Better kicking from New Zealand.
Well, it was a good kick from New Zealand, but more importantly, it had the chasing team up there. That was the key. They didn't let Shearer make the runs that he's been making consistently.
7 minutes gone in this second half. Hancock finally gets to his feet. They trap Australia right near their 20. Steve Walters had nobody to pass to.
And that is not a good sign.
Fittler gets in there to spark things for Australia. Gets them out to the 30. But it is the last tackle. Langer thinking about running it on the last. Good support from Harrigan. Harrigan knows he has to keep it alive, but they come up with a big mistake in their own territory. Handover for the Kiwis. Now, Harrigan and Freeman failed to agree over an incident. Bit of feeling creeping in, if there wasn't already. Serenan still looking daggers at his old Tiger teammate Freeman. And Gavin Hill will try and get them on the board.
Australia losing a bit of composure here at the moment. It's a worrying time for them. I think they'll be glad to see Gavin Hill go for the shot at goal rather than have a 6 set of tackles against them.
Makes you wonder why they go for goal from 40 out, but that rush of blood in the first half when they had a kick from only about 12 or 15 to the side of the post inside the 10 metres, and they turned it down.
Yeah, well, I think Michael brought up a pretty good point, because Australia were a little rattled at that stage. They were off their game a little, and that situation really suits New Zealand, because, you know, to get Australia off their game is a major component, and what they're doing now is just allowing them the opportunity to regain their composure.
In the first half, the Kiwis defended for 84 tackles. Dwayne Mann led the way with 13, Australia 89. Bradley Clyde came up with 14, Harrigan just behind on 12. Gavin Hill taking over from Halligan, who has been put back to the bench for this one, looking to get himself on the board for the first time ever against Australia in a test. Does he have the legs? Yes! New Zealand get on the board. Australia still have the lead.
John Lomax is on the field. Stephen Carney just waiting to come on now.
Australia still leading by 4. Mercer back to the bench. Midfield for New Zealand to bring this one out. Stephen Kearney gets a test match against the Australians. Changes will be vital now. Nikau, one of their better back row attackers, to the bench. So a big ask for young Kearney from Western Suburbs. Shearer. Nail on the second occasion, the second attempt by Watson. Clyde. 11 minutes gone in this second half. Interesting stage of this third test. Lindner. Great run from Lindner.
It was an outstanding run from Bobby Lindner because it certainly gained them good field position and put them on a roll.
Fittler steps. Sat the ball up for Daly. Australia looking for another try, looking for something to regain the advantage as New Zealand creep back into it. The goal will give them tons of confidence. Great chase and tackle from Langer. Donnelly, taken strongly by Meninga and Clyde. Todd. McCracken thought about giving it back to Freeman. Tudor. Ball comes clear for Kearney.
Tia Rapati warming up again on the bench.
Freeman. Kicking over the head of Hancock. Hancock. Hoppy stayed out on Shearer. Here's trouble. Hoppy gets back there brilliantly. And he restarts out near the 50. That was danger if the ball had been clean to Shearer. In the opposition half, the Australians just have it by 3.
Again, Tony Kemp just taking the line on instead of offloading. He's trying very hard, Tony Kemp, but he'd be better served getting the ball out quicker.
Lomax nearly finished out over the sideline with the ball, but he managed to keep it alive. But now they give it away. New Zealand have it again, Edwards. Now there's a forearm in there against Daly. Russell Smith was quick to call him out. Dwayne Mann stops Edwards from carrying on with it. Daly will be called out for the use of a forearm. This was where Langer had a chance to pick it up.
The old scrappy play from both sides then. New Zealand regaining it through Morven Edwards, taking the defence on there. Willie Kahn it was, going in high to start with and then trying to come up with a bit of a serve. Not a lot in it, but the referee's right on that sort of thing tonight.
Willie Kahn, my apologies, comes out to get the warning from Russell Smith. Another chance for Gavin Hill. 3 straight penalties to New Zealand. Freeman tells the referee we will go for goal.
Yet again, Graham, this sort of thing is only playing into Australia's hands, really. The longer the game stops like this, the more it will suit them. Mel's not a happy man there, you can see. Australia were rattled at that stage. If it was able to roll on, if New Zealand could have kept possession, kept a bit of pressure, who knows what would have happened. Now that pressure cooker situation has eased off.
Rapati's still loosening up. He was the player of the year in the season just completed in Great Britain.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting replacement because they can change their lineup a little bit, move a few people around, maybe move Watson back to fullback. There's a couple of nice things they can do if they bring Rapati on and just give the Australians a bit of a different look. I think that at this stage of the game, a different look while the New Zealanders are chipping away could work to their advantage.
100% for Hill so far. We were here at Lang Park yesterday. Hill and Halligan spent about 45 minutes practicing. Right on the 40. Adjacent to the post, he's looking right down the uprights. Hits it well. It is a lot closer still. 6-4 Australia. The Australians back slowly. This match now anybody's. The Australians want to finish with a strong scoreline of 2 tests their way. New Zealand trying to win one back. Australia by only 2. They lose at New Zealand. There has been a lot of handovers. Was that one stolen, or did Hill just lose it? Was there any hands in there? There looked to be a lot in there. Shearer trapped quickly by McCracken. The Australians will try and go to another pace. Really try and pick up their game now in attack. At New Zealand's end, handling errors mounting. 2-1 against the Australians. Lazarus takes 3 of them to midfield, 25 out. Steve Walters, Harrigan. Taken well and low by Todd last tackle. Langer. Daly runs to the line. There is an Australian down off the ball. Russell Smith stops the play. Now Meninga, dumbfounded, looks to the touch judge. Russell Smith calls the touch judge in. He shakes his head. Replay might tell an interesting story as Daly was looking for runners.
Just try to bring the runner off his hip there, and Jared McCracken, there was some contact.
Shoulder charge from McCracken.
Well, it was a shoulder charge from McCracken, but where was he supposed to go? I know he hit hard with his shoulder, but it is a test match. He couldn't jump out of the way.
That's a dead set penalty to Australia, no doubt about it. It was over vigorous, it wasn't needed for, it wasn't called for.
Tudor across the field was easy pickings in the end. Daly gets upset. This test might yet explode in the last 25 minutes. Final test of the series. Some real personal duels being settled. Dwayne Mann. Kearney looks wide, floats it over the top. Awful ball from Kearney. Donnelly back to his own 10. He thought long and hard about it. Back upfield, there was an exchange between Fittler and Lomax and Hoppy. Touch judge was in to separate that one. Freeman kicking to Hancock on an open wing here, could be danger. Hoppy will try and take him. He slips. 2 points only in it. Clyde. Harrigan. Strong defence from both sides. We've only had the one try. A lot of drop ball from both these teams, but there has been a lot of close marking. Langer trying to get it wide. Daly kicking for Shearer, who is onside. Just couldn't get to it. Whenever they've kicked behind the line, they have caught New Zealand out, and Shearer just needed this one to sit up to give him the opportunity.
Yeah, it's a great tactic, and the wingers aren't reading it very well, and the fullback's been caught.
New Zealand down here now.
Hoppy. Mick, there has been a lot of close marking, as I said. A lot of handling mistakes, unaccustomed, especially probably from Australia. Do you think the referee has allowed them to stand up too much?
I do, actually. I think they have been coming up, and he's been taking very little to no notice of it. But also, there's a lot of vigorous tackling. And, I mean, you put it down to both. A bit of missed, bit of dew on the ball. But certainly Australia dropping the ball far too many times, reminiscent of the first test at Mount Smart.
Exactly. Now Freeman. Little chip, this time from the Kiwis. They nearly had it. They were only inches away from creating the opportunity. But Hancock quickly turning defence into attack, chance out wide. Steve Walters.
Fulton's seen the need for a ball player. He's got Ian Roberts on the sideline warming up now.
Lindner, taken by Kearney and Lomax. The Australian bench active midway through this second 40. Daly drags it in, taken by Kemp. Dwayne Mann does his best to slow the play the ball right down. Very skinny play of the ball, only about 3 or 4 metres back in that one. Walters quickly from dummy half. Good short ball to Meninga to run to the gap. Last tackle, Langer.
Australia need to go to the air shortly.
Langer does just that. Edwards will take it easily. He went too deep. Back to the 20. New Zealand's turn. Poppy.
New Zealand need to try and create a situation where Jared McCracken can get involved. He's sitting out there, he's looking for the ball, but he can't quite get to it. They've got to, he is their main strike force. They've got to give him more opportunities if they are to win this game.
14-all the first test at Mount Smart. 16-8 Australia in the second last Friday night at Palmerston North in New Zealand. And we've got it 6-4 at Lang Park. 20 to go in the third test. Freeman. A good kick away from Willie Kahn. Now they need the straight line of defence. Beautiful return from Kahn. He cops a high tackle. Penalty to Australia. How long will it be before the referee finally calls both captains together? 2 to this time is called over.
Yeah, well, undoubtedly that was a high shot. Brendan Tudor's lucky that he's going to be staying on the field and not put in the sin bin. But as you say, the game is in the balance. Both players on both sides have got to control themselves. The referee is whistle happy. He's done a good job at controlling anything at all that's above the shoulders. New Zealand have got to be careful and keep down low if they're going to get back the lead.
19 and a half. Bobby Lindner back to the bench with the Kiwis having the penalties 10-7. So the change is made.
He's getting a very big reception too, Bobby Lindner. What a great career he's had.
One of Australia's best in recent times. He will watch the remainder of this one sideline. Ian Roberts out there with his touch.
And it shows how tough it is coaching these days. It must have been a very tough decision for Bob Fulton to bring Bobby Lindner off in his last game out here on Lang Park, because everyone wants to finish when the full-time hooter goes.
Mistake from Australia. Out on the full.
Tia Rapati just coming on now. He's replacing Morven Edwards.
So Watson now, as he did in the second test, back to fullback where he caused some problems. Kemp. Rapati goes to the centre to join up with McCracken. Todd.
Michael, do you think the New Zealand centres are getting enough ball?
I'd say not, but they have been closely checked by the Australian centres.
Rapati used as a decoy for Watson. Donnelly goes infield. Freeman inside to Tudor. Taken beautifully. Great tackle head on from Roberts. Short side goes Lomax. Taken strongly by Daly.
And once again, Lomax had a tremendous impact on the game when he's come off the bench.
Midfield bomb from Freeman, up and down in the one spot. Watson tries to get positive. Knock on against the Kiwis, hand over for the Australians. Langer. Well, we've got a penalty in the play of the ball.
Yeah, I think he's done a pretty good job, the referee, in all areas except that area. I don't think he's keeping a big enough, the teams far enough apart, but he's been on the ball. He hasn't made a lot of mistakes, and you know, he just needs he just needs to keep the sides back.
Great ball up from Lazarus. Clyde. Australia haven't been down here for a while. They have not had too many real good chances in this second half. Roberts likewise trying to look for support. This is the domain that normally belongs to Langer and Daly inside the 20. Now they go to their big back line. Meninga flying onto it. Inside, Fittler under the post. Brilliantly worked. Lang Park comes alive as Australia grabs their second. Put it down to a roll from two forwards. Lazarus and Roberts, they created it out wide. It was set up perfectly for Langer and Daly, and Meninga came from a mile back.
Outstanding work here by Australia. As you said, the platform laid by the forwards. But what about Mal Meninga? The world's premier rugby league player, Mal Meninga, coming onto the ball. You'd need 15, 16, 17 players out in the field to try and stop him when he's in that sort of mood. It's a try all the way. Great work, Mal Meninga, setting that up.
Yeah, it's good quick hands too. Langer moves the ball nice and quickly. Laurie Daly heads for the corner post, gets an inside runner there to hold him up, and then Big Mal comes. He's an awesome sight, and he certainly takes some stopping. There's the inside man. Good support play under the posts.
The old Canberra connection, Laurie Daly, they do this so often. He works well with Meninga, runs across field. Mal's so dangerous when he takes the ball on the inside like that. We saw a big break in the first half, and in the second test, absolutely steamrolls his opposing captain, Gary Freeman. He won't forget that one. A great try, Australia.
Brad Fittler, his first ever try against New Zealand, and what an important one as they try to get away from New Zealand. Shearer from right in front. Grabs two more. There is still plenty of time. 15 minutes. It is 12-4 Australia. Shearer calls for somebody to cover for him at the back as New Zealand try to restart. New Zealand now desperate for a try.
In so many test matches, Graham, New Zealand's been valiant in the games right throughout. Been right there within a whisker of winning the game. There's still 15 minutes to go. There's still plenty of time for them to do it. But up against Australia, they do just pull something extra out. And we saw Mal Meninga give an example of it.
Clyde. They came back in the second half at Palmerston North. Australia trying to put some points on the board to really stretch this scoreline in the last 14. Watson attacks the ball. Just short of halfway. Now they have to throw the ball wide. Try and create something. McCracken is standing flat. Back to Rapati. Still a good straight line for Bob Fulton, the Australian coach. Todd taken by Meninga.
Well, he'd be a pretty proud bloke because the Australian defence has been nothing short of magnificent. Really, it's the breaches that New Zealand have had in the three games have been few and far between. The defence of Australia has been outstanding, and that is why they are the world champions.
Kearney pushes it back to Freeman, to Rapati. He goes back infield looking for support. Freeman, Hoppy, in and away. Hancock stays with him. Good duel out on the sideline. Last tackle. New Zealand have not been able to pick up too much territory. Kemp kicking, but that will go straight to Shearer. He allows this one to bounce. Confidently, he just plays with it. Great defence from Donnelly and McCracken. They were trying to get him out towards the sideline.
Well, Dale Shearer's been under an injury cloud all week with a hamstring injury.
Willie Kahn, out of nothing, creates a chance. Meninga sits it up. Langer interfered with. Now, Willie Kahn is off. Penalty to New Zealand. Crowd don't like it. Langer was claiming that he didn't have a clean shot at it. Great break from Willie Kahn.
Yeah, it's a break out of nothing. You know, it was a bad chase on the kick. Very good speed there. Mal gets the ball. It is only the first tackle, so he should, you know, he's probably better off hanging on to that ball, and you know, they'll probably get over in the next couple of plays.
What great play there from Willie Kahn. Not only did he make the break, he accelerated, but he threw a fantastic ball to Mal Meninga. That
Penalty stays with New Zealand. Now, Willie Kahn has got 10 minutes in the bin. Hard to see what Russell Smith saw on the end of all of that.
I think he may have given him a serve.
So Australia down to 12 men. Kahn will not get back out there except for the last 1 minute and 40 seconds. Can they stretch them now with 12? Freeman. Kemp trying to find a try that again busts this test open.
Once again, the ball not getting out wide quick enough.
Lomax. Well picked up by Hoppy. Watson. Australia up quick out wide. Watson nearly got away. McCracken was on the inside. He found him too late. Clyde.
Roll away!
32 out from their own line, Australia. Shearer up to do some work for the forwards. Stands rather casually. Harrigan. Taken by Todd and Freeman, captain and vice-captain. Very slow play of the ball. Roberts.
Hasn't he had a big game since he's come on?
Turns them around, last tackle. Ball was touched. Watson. Taken by Daly and Langer. They push him back 5. Donnelly. He's had a difficult introduction to Test football. Rapati likewise goes backwards at the hands of Sirinen. Hoppy. New Zealand looking for a big play to turn this out and around of their own 20. McCracken to Donnelly. Great cover. Clyde got across there. Now it's the last. Freeman. Kicking long, but Hancock is back there. Knocks it back. Taken by the jumper. Tudor hangs on grimly.
Bradley Clyde's come off the field. He's replaced by Andrew Eddinghausen.
Shearer taken quickly. Clyde looks as though he might be complaining about vision. Fittler with a big play. Eddinghausen, his first touch. Eddinghausen on Watson. Great tackle.
Great play, Brad Fittler.
Fittler has been important a number of times when the Australians have been under pressure. Penalty to Australia. Great attack from Australia, but great defence from Watson to stop it. The Kiwis have the penalties. Eddinghausen had a lot of room to move. Now, 10 metres out. Huge defensive effort in front of New Zealand. Lazarus just throws himself at the line. Punishing defence this time from Gavin Hill. Roberts took the full brunt of that one. Langer is extra wide. Great ball out from Steve Walters. Daly. Again Meninga on the inside. He steps clear. Meninga brings the house down. This has been the domain of the Queenslanders in state of origin football for so long. And Meninga, on his home turf, grabs a real important one.
Well, again, an outstanding try from Australia. Just come from pressure. Look, I wanted New Zealand to win this test match, but if there was going to be a big game coming from someone in a green gold jumper, couldn't be more pleased it's coming from Mal Meninga.
Yeah, the width in the pass here. 30-metre pass right across the field. Daly gets on the outside again, slips a nice ball inside to Mal. The inside people aren't pushing or tackling good enough, and you just can't stop Mal from 5 yards out.
There's no doubt about this combination, this Canberra combination. As I said before, he is so difficult to tackle when he gets that inside ball. There he goes, knocks one out of the way, over for a try. Mal Meninga, what a great Australian. I mean, he's done it so many times for Australia. Let's look back to 1990 when he won with a winning try, that second test at Leeds. He's really done so much for Australia. There's a statue here of Wally Lewis at Lang Park. Well, I tell you what are they going to do for this guy?
Well, we might even look ahead to 1994. He wants to tour Great Britain as captain. Shearer out wide. Shearer just wide. 16-4. New Zealand have hung on and they've put in a real big effort. Just haven't really been able to come up with the plays in attack.
No, Graham, we are singing the praises of Australia and that man there, Mal Meninga. But you've got to give credit to New Zealand. They do not have the class players that Australia's got. They have played 3 test matches full of commitment. I think they've done New Zealand proud. But the difference has just come up tonight, and we can see the gap between the world champions and the rest of the world.
Kevin Walters on for free. Brad Fittler.
Fittler. That might be a reward for Fittler. That try, we believe, was 500 points for Meninga in all matches in the green and gold. What a performer. Harrigan still pumping it out up the middle as we go down to the last 5. Roberts. Kevin Walters out there for Fittler, looks for the sideline. That's not a bad start for him.
When Lazarus is off, he's been replaced by David Gillespie.
Lazarus back to the bench. So Gillespie will get 5 minutes at it. The forwards for Australia have dominated the last 2 tests especially.
Well, when you see the 2 forward packs lined up against one another, there's a huge difference in size, and that's had a telling effect. You know, the likes of Brent Todd, he's a bit of an unsung hero over these last 3 tests, Graham. He's done a great job. He's always manages to stay on his hands and knees when tackled.
Hoppy. Hancock is coming. Hoppy does remarkably well to go infield. They want to try. They want to even up this scoreline. Kemp. Watson puts it down. Shearer on the break. That was their best chance. Australia still down to 12. Roberts in support as Harrigan.
Time clipping away. It's only a little over 3 minutes to go.
Sheridan drops some punishment. Gillespie. Steve Walters. Harrigan tries to sit it up, and Hoppy has another run. Last 3 minutes.
Willie Kahn returning to the field for
Willie Kahn back out there, sideline. Gets onto the field a little bit earlier than I thought he would have been allowed. Kemp. Kemp pushed back. Remarkable defence from Australia. Kahn back into position. Freeman. Down, away from Shearer. Midfield, Australia, as the game slows. Daly has other ideas. He tries to get away.
The game's got every reason and right to slow. It's been played at a frantic pace. There's always been 26 players out there giving absolutely everything. There's not one player that's been on the field here tonight that's really had a rest. Total commitment from both sides. I think they should be applauded, all the players. They have shown that Test football is well and alive, not only between Australia and Great Britain, but the little old Kiwis, they can come up with a few other things besides shearing sheep.
Right on halfway. Kevin Walters finishes up. It will be a handover for New Zealand. They will have it for the final 60 seconds of this third test. Dwayne Mann has worked hard for the Kiwis. Right at the death, he gets pushed back, and a big pat on the back from Sheridan for Harrigan, who has worked just as hard for Australia. Watson gets nailed. Rapati. Lomax. Meninga over the top to Kahn. Kahn still going, hit by McCracken. Massive tackle. Langer. Is there a try left for Australia? Again they kick. Hancock looking for a double. Watson's there in time. There'll be no restart. Seconds only remain. Time is gone, and Australia grab a strong scoreline in this third and final test. They grabbed all the tries, but it was tough and still pretty tight for most of the second 40. The victorious captain is Mal Meninga. The world champs, though, have had a real test. Right throughout the series, they came up with some remarkable defence, Australia, here at Lang Park, and some great tries in the second 40. Freeman wanders off Lang Park for the last time as a New Zealand captain. Two of the greats of the game leave us from the international scene in Australia, Lindner and Freeman. 16-4.
Bodies, the hottest looks, the most exotic locations, competing for the most coveted and toughest swimwear competition in the world.
When you hear your name, that's like the best part of it.
For some, it'll be the once-in-a-lifetime chance to crack the big time.
That's a wrap.
Their dreams of glamour, excitement and fame. The Swimwear Illustrated's Bikini Model Search. Thursday.
Welcome back to Lang Park. A tremendous performance by Australia in the second 40. Outstanding was the captain, Mal Meninga. Let's take you down there. Here he is with Michael O'Connor.
Mal, congratulations, mate. Have you ever played a more influential role in a test match other than the only one I can think of is the second test, 1990?
Oh, it was great, Nick. You know, we knew we had to keep on plugging away. We knew the kid was going to play for 80 minutes, and full marks to our guys. We had to do a lot of defence. We made a lot of mistakes, and particularly in the first half, but we hung on the ball a bit better, and we controlled the ball, and we scored the points, which is great.
Mal, are they a better side than 1991?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you only have to go on the scoreline, and we knew that, like, at half-time, our talk revolved around making sure we win the second half, because in the first two, they come back and they could probably play the better in each half, second half of each other test match. So just had to control the ball and make sure we win.
Were you happy with the ball handling?
Oh, not overly. I mean, obviously we can control a lot better than what we did. We did very well in the second half. That's probably why we got the points.
Well, congratulations, Mal. It's one of your great games, and, you know, what more can I say? Well done, mate.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
No doubt about Mal Meninga. Remarkable talent, and who knows, he might be the victorious captain of the 1994 Kangaroo Tour to Great Britain. Another man brings down the curtain tonight on a wonderful test career. Bob Ledner at his favourite ground, Lang Park. Here he is with Michael O'Connor.
Bobby, you certainly know how to have a farewell hill here at Lang Park. You did it in the State of Origin and again tonight.
I've been pretty fortunate that, you know, been able to play the last games here at Lang Park, so pretty fortunate about the venues and, of course, the results. So, yeah, it's a nice way to go out.
Sentimental moment. We're going to lose you now to representative football. Is that right?
Oh, I would say that's the go. Yeah, I definitely finished my Australian rep commitment, and the Queensland thing is, like, it's going to be discussed, but we'll cross that bridge if and when it occurs. So at this stage, definitely finished and well, representative football in Australia.
You've been involved in representative football for near on a decade now. Is it getting tougher?
Oh, most certainly. You know, this game tonight, 20 minutes into the second half, there was only 2 points in it, and really, although we thought pretty comfortable that we had their measure, things could have happened and it could have gone on the other way. But as it turned out, we held onto the ball and controlled the game pretty well and got on top of them. So, but over those 10 years, yeah, it has changed a lot, and the international teams are getting very tough to play.
Well, Bobby, you're going to be sorely missed by Australian fans. Good luck, mate.
Thanks, guys. I've enjoyed every moment.
And Mal Meninga enjoys the moment in front of 30,000 at Lang Park as Australia retains the Trans-Tasman trophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain of the world champion Australian Rugby League team, Mal Meninga.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Trevor. Thanks to our great crowd support here at Lang Park. Once again, I keep on thanking you for turning out and following us, and you done us proud again tonight. To our team, it's been a very gruelling 10 days, and you know, it's just, the training staff, in particular our physio and doctors, and our training staff did tremendously well. We had a few injuries leading up to most of the games we played in, and they managed to get us on the field. Well done, guys. To Bozo, once again, son, you've done the deed. You got us motivated. Like I said, it was a tough 10 days, and it takes a remarkable coach to keep a side with their minds on the job over that period of time. To our fellas, you know, we stuck together pretty thick during the whole time we've been together, and one of our motivation tonight was that we're all friends, we all camped together, we're one big family, and we knew we couldn't let ourselves and our supporters down. And last but not least, the Kiwis, we knew you were going to keep on fighting. You showed in every test match that we played this year that you are a great side, international series as well and alive. And I guess it would be remiss of me to not thank our sponsors, Forex and Lion Red, for the marvellous support they give rugby league. Thanks very much.
Mal Meninga, ladies and gentlemen, as he said, it's been a tremendous series, and I don't think it would be fair of us to leave Lang Park tonight before we hear from another captain courageous, the New Zealand skipper, Gary Freeman.
To the crowd of Lang Park, thanks very much for that ovation there. That's tremendous. To Mel, to Ken Alverson, Trevor Maxwell, the New Zealand Rugby League, to Lion Red, the major sponsor of the 93 Kiwis, to my side, Howie Tammany, the doctors, physios, you've done a great job looking after us over the 10 days, and we did fight on very well. We showed a lot of character. Showed a lot of character in this side, and all I can say is that to the Australian side, very, very hard to beat, and they are world champions. And I'd just like to say to my fellas, you did put up a great fight, and we're just a little bit unlucky that the bounce of the ball didn't go our way tonight. Thanks very much.
We also have the Lion Red Challenge Cup to be presented, and I think I should ask the chairman of the Australian Rugby League, Ken Arthurson, to present that.
Well, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I must, on behalf of the Australian Rugby League, take this opportunity of congratulating the Kiwis on a magnificent Test series. Naturally, as a proud Australian, I just think our boys were terrific, and there's no risk that they've deserved the mantle of world champions. And to Bob Fulton, Mal Meninga, and all of the players in the Australian side, I'd like to say that I'm proud to be an Australian, because they play the brand of rugby league that has made them the world champions. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance here tonight. We do appreciate it.
Thanks, Ken. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the presentations, but I think it only fair that Mal Meninga, and possibly his last representative appearance here at Lang Park, I don't know, he won't make any concrete decisions yet, should lead the Australians on a lap of honour.
So to the victor goes the spoils, and Mal Meninga grabs the Trans-Tasman trophy. It was a tough one in the second half. Only 2 points in it for a long time in that second 40. But again, Bob Fulton and his Australian team have shown everybody that they are the world champions. We'll take this break on 7 Sport, back at Lang Park right after this.